Alright, welcome back to our 2D platformer tutorial series. Today we're going to add a little bit more challenge by recreating our patrolling enemy. We're going to have it moving back and forth between 2 points, and we're going to have it kill the player. So let's get started. First thing we need to do is create a scene. So I want to go to my 2D view so I can see what I'm doing. Then I'm going to go to scene, new scene. And I'm going to add a character body. I already have one here in my recent, so I can just click on that and press create. Let's go ahead and rename this. I already decided earlier I'm going to use the bear character, so we need to rename it bear. Now I know what I'm looking for when I add it to the scene. We know our enemy layer is on 3, and that we're going to need it to interact with mask 1 and 2, which is the player and the ground. Now let's add a few child nodes. We need an animated sprite, and we're going to use that to add the bear to it. So add new sprite frames. Let's go ahead and find our bear character, which is under enemies and NPCs, and just drag that in. Let's go ahead and turn on the autoplay on load. Let's see. 5 frames per second, that's pretty good from there. Go ahead and click on bear again. Oops, we don't want to instantiate. We want to add a collision shape. Alright, and in this collision shape, we're going to go to new shape, new rectangle shape, 2D. Let's go ahead and zoom in so we can see what's going on. And we can drag this rectangle down about like that. About like that. Next thing we need to do is add the waypoints, and we're going to add those patrol points by putting them in our scene here. What we want is a marker 2D, and we're going to go ahead and name this one right point, and we're going to just move this guy along this line here, something about like that. Then we're going to click on bear. We're going to add another marker 2D. This one's going to be called left point. There we go. Alright, now that that is all set up, let's start writing our script. So click on bear, add a new script. Because we're using the character body, it wants to do that. So let's go ahead and save it. Find your scripts folder and make sure you save it. I'm going to call this patrolling enemy. And then I'm going to go ahead and press create. And we don't need any of those right there, but I am going to have a constant and name it gravity. And for now, we're going to make it equal to 900. We're going to add a public variable, which we called speed. That's going to be a float. And for now, we're going to have it equal to 100. We're going to have a couple onReady variables. One's going to be called left point. And it's going to be equal to the left point dot position. And we're going to have another one at on ready variable right point, and that's going to be equal to our right point dot position. Next, what we're going to do is add a private variable called direction and make that equal to -1. This is going to have it start out by moving left, even though we're going to code it so that it actually starts out moving right because the bear is facing right, but that's okay. So what we need is we need an onReady, or a function ready, not an onReady. So function underscore ready, and we're going to make the position dot x equal to the right point.x, and we're going to have the animated sprite go ahead and start playing, and it's going to play the, did we name that? I don't know, let's see. Animated sprite, we left it default, so we'll just name it default. That's fine. Normally you'd want to name it, since you'd want to name the animation, we will name it this is walk. There we go. Alright, so walk is what we call it. And then on our physics process, we need to add the gravity, but we don't like that the way it does the gravity there, so we're going to delete all that nonsense. And I'm going to leave the movement site because I'm going to use that in just a second. I'm going to say velocity.y plus equals gravity times delta. And that's going to be our gravity application. Next thing we need to do is our movement. So velocity.x is equal to minus direction. So we're multiplying our negative one by negative one, which is going to make it go to the right. And then times speed. So between these two right here, this is going to be the movement. Let's see. The next thing we need to do is some checks. We need to see if the enemy makes it to the point. So if direction is equal to 1 and the position.x is, I think that's less than. That part always messes me up. Less than or equal than. If you guys know, put it in the comments. Educate me. Alright. Direction is equal to minus 1. And then we're gonna call a function that we haven't written yet called flip sprite, because that's what we want to do. We want to flip the sprite. You could hard code the flipping of the sprite, but why when you can make it easier and just, well, we're hard coding the flipping of the sprite. You could write it all out lengthily, or we can just create a function and make life easier on ourselves, right? So else if the direction is equal to minus 1 and position.x is greater than or equal to the right point.x, and we're going to say direction is equal to 1, and then we're going to call that flip sprite that we haven't written yet also again. So now we're at a point where we need to write that function. So function flip sprite, and animated sprite 2D dot flip h is equal to direction, which is equal to 1. Alright, and that should flip the sprite. Obviously, I haven't saved the scene yet. That's bad on me. Always make sure you're saving. Find your scenes folder. Make sure the scene is named with whatever you're using. In this case, I'm using the bear, so mine is named bear, and then press save. Alright, it doesn't like this because I forgot a colon. There we go. Left point variable doesn't have a set type. Interesting. Cannot infer the type of left point variable. This is, you should be able to. Why can't you? You know why? Because I put these colons for some reason and it's confusing Godot. That's why. Let's see, where else? We should be good now. So let's go ahead and add it in. This is unused now, so I don't know why I still have that popping up. So yeah, that's weird. 2D, let's add our bear. Let's bring him down here and let's see what happens. And he walked the opposite direction, and I think that's because he's still right on top of our left point. So let's go ahead and move the bear out, something like that, and let's try it again. Still running towards me. Does it though, or maybe I'm just in the way? Yeah, I'm just in the way. Alright, there we go. So now it's doing its thing. Now we need it to kill the player. So what we're gonna do is, really all we have to do is copy this code from our grasshopper. So this guy right here, we should just be able to copy that, paste that over into our patrolling enemy. I'm going to do that right here in our physics process. Now let's press play and see what happens. Hey, there we go, and it resets. Hey, there we go, and it resets. So there you go, folks. A patrolling enemy that also kills the enemy, or not the enemy, kills the player. So I will see you guys in the next video.